The station lights flickered as the human ship approached. It was slow, uneven, and scratched along the hull, paint peeled at the edges. One of the side panels had been replaced with mismatched plating, clearly taken from another ship. The engines coughed smoke as they powered down, compared to the sleek alien cruisers floating nearby. It looked like a piece of space junk drifting in by mistake. The station's traffic control officer, a young Volari named Saren, raised his brow and looked at the screen again. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. Are we really letting that thing dock? He asked. His Drekkai supervisor grunted. It's registered. Old Earth Treaty vessel. Designation, Valor's Edge. Saren laughed. Edge of what? That thing looks like it belongs in a museum. On the other side of the calm system. Captain Eli Barrett heard every word. He sat back in the command chair, calm as ever. His face was lined, beard short and gray. His eyes, sharp and quiet, focused on the station ahead. Still making friends, Captain? Asked Maya Lang, his chief engineer, walking in with a mug of lukewarm coffee. Seems like it. Eli said, they love us already. She handed him the coffee. Maybe it's the smell. This ship hasn't had a proper vent cycle in 2 months. Adds charm, Eli replied, smiling faintly. The Valor's Edge docked with a soft metallic thud. It didn't have automated landing gear like the newer ships, so the crew had to guide the docking clamps by hand. Maya and 2 other crew members stepped out first, greeted by curious looks and thinly veiled smirks from the dock workers. The station was massive, filled with alien ships from dozens of sectors. Everything looked new, clean floors, blinking lights, organized traffic. And then there was them, the crew of a ship built nearly 60 years ago. They didn't care. Eli walked off the ramp last. His boots hit the metal floor with a slow thump. He wore an old brown coat over a faded uniform. No medals, no patches, just a name tag that read E. Barrett. He walked like he had nowhere to prove but everywhere to be. Later that day, in the station's central council hall, alien leaders gathered for a routine update on border security. Each speaker stood at a podium made from their own homeworld's material: glass, stone, crystal, bone. Eli stood at the back of the room. He wasn't invited to speak, but he came anyway. His crew had picked up something during the last 3 patrols, a signal. It was buried in old communication code, hidden, moving across systems that hadn't been mapped in years. No one had listened. After the last signal pinged again 2 days ago, he decided to come here. The station sat at the edge of known space. It had the power to act, to send ships, to investigate, but only if they believed him. He stepped forward during the open floor time and pressed a button to speak. My name is Captain Eli Barrett of the Valor's Edge, he said slowly. My ship picked up a signal in deep space. A repeating burst of sound, non-standard, non-random. I believe it's a ship, a fleet, maybe, and it's moving. The council was quiet for a second. Then the Drenari ambassador laughed, his voice echoing across the chamber. Captain Barrett, how long has it been since Earth updated its sensor rays? The room chuckled. Another delegate, from the Taller race, said, what makes you think your rust bucket found something we missed? Eli didn't blink. Because I was looking in the places you forgot. The laughter faded, but no one took it seriously. Eli left the council hall without another word. He wasn't surprised. Back in the docking bay, Maya was waiting with 2 datapads. No one's going to help, are they? She asked. Didn't expect them to. So what now? We do what we always do. She raised a brow. Go alone, Eli nodded. We follow the signal. Outside, the station continued its daily cycle. Cargo ships arrived. Shuttles left. Fleet vessels trained their weapons on nothing. The 5 major powers believed the frontier was calm, but Eli Barrett had been out there. He knew space didn't stay calm for long. The Valor's Edge powered up again. Its engines hummed unevenly, like an old dog stretching after a long nap. One of the stabilizers glitched, then corrected. The AI whispered a warning about coolant levels. Eli dismissed it with a tap. As they pulled away from the station, traffic control tried not to laugh again. Good luck, old man, Saren said under his breath. The signal was already calling again, faint, broken, but constant. It came From a dead zone where even pirates rarely went. Ships didn't vanish there, because ships didn't go there at all. Now one ship would. And while the galaxy laughed, the Valor's Edge turned its nose toward the dark and drifted into the unknown. The ship groaned as it sped up. So did the silence ahead. The stars stretched ahead like cold, quiet watchers. The Valor's Edge flew slowly through dark space, far from trade routes, patrol zones, or anything considered useful. The engines buzzed steadily, but a slight rattle in the floor reminded the crew how old the ship truly was. Captain Eli Barrett sat in the command chair, staring at the dark. He'd seen 100 strange things out here in deep space, but nothing quite like this signal. It was still faint, still irregular, but now it was louder, signals getting clearer, said Maya Lang from the navigation console. She zoomed in on the pattern. Still doesn't match any known language or code. Just these 5 tones over and over. She pressed a button, and the bridge filled with sound. 5 slow beeps, spaced like a heartbeat, then silence, then the same 5 again. Feels wrong, she said softly. Eli listened, brow furrowed. That's not a broadcast, it's a warning. In the back, Ensign Kyle Reyes, the ship's youngest crew member, ran a deep scan through the forward array. He had been assigned to Valor's Edge 3 months ago as a routine post, hoping for something easy. Now he wasn't so sure. Captain, Kyle called. There's something ahead. A lot of mass, no light, no heat. How far? Eli asked. 20 minutes if we keep this speed. Eli stood. Maya, drop us to quarter. Let's get eyes before we go charging into a trap. The ship slowed. Lights dimmed. The crew worked in silence. They passed an empty cargo field, first abandoned crates floating in space, some cracked open, others untouched, a few bore markings from alien fleets, Volari, Marin, even Drekkai, but no ships, no wreckage, just floating. Cargo, skin those, Eli said. Kyle ran a trace, nothing recent. These have been drifting for at least 2 weeks. Maya looked uneasy. That would mean someone took the ships, but left the cargo, that, Eli said, or something. Didn't care about supplies. The signal grew louder. Now the 5 tones were sharp, like an alarm underwater. The screen flashed with energy waves, uneven and wild, like the edge of a solar flare. But there was no sun nearby. Then Kyle's hands froze. Captain, we've got movement. Eli stepped beside him. Where? Kyle pointed. All around. US, the radar screen flickered. Dozens of small objects appeared, just at the edge of sensor range. They weren't on a direct course. They didn't match any known formation. They're circling, Maya said, but not broadcasting. Try hailing, Eli ordered. She did. No reply. Eli pressed the comms switch. This is the human vessel Valor's Edge, identifying under interstellar peace law. You are entering known space. Respond. Silence. The radar beeped. More signals. Now they weren't just circling, they were getting closer. Bring up visuals, Eli said. The screen changed. For a moment, only stars. Then they saw them. Shapes moved in the dark. Long, narrow hulls with sharp edges. No lights. No windows. Just dark skin like black stone. There were no visible weapons, but their movements were precise, almost practiced. And they were fast. Maya whispered, those aren't drones. Kyle leaned closer. They're alive. Eli watched. The ships weren't drifting, they were hunting. Turn. US around, he said. We're not ready for this. The Valor's Edge began to spin. Then something hit them, not a weapon. A wave. The ship shook violently as if a hand had slapped it from below. Consoles sparked. The lights flickered. Gravity shifted. What was that? Maya shouted. Gravitic pulse, Kyle said. But to focus, to be natural, Eli steadied himself. Damage, no breach, Maya answered. Shields held. Another pulse, this one harder. A pipe burst in the ceiling, raining sparks down on the floor. Eli slammed a fist on the comm switch. Reyes, reroute power from rear engines to shield buffers. Maya, get us clear. We need distance. But the ships were already moving in. Then something new appeared on the screen just ahead. A larger shape, still and silent, not moving like the others. It looked like a chunk of asteroid at first, but it was too smooth. It didn't shine. It didn't reflect. The AI identified it as a void object, meaning the system didn't know what it was. Eli stepped closer to the screen. That's not a ship. Maya narrowed her eyes. It's a nest. The radar flared red. Hundreds of smaller signals surged forward from the larger shape. Brace. Kyle shouted. The first wave hit the ship's shields. The impact was not explosive but sharp. As if space itself twisted for a second. The ship spun violently. Alarms screamed across the bridge. Stabilizers down, Maya shouted. We're spinning. Eli grabbed the console. Reverse thrusters. Push us sideways. Kyle reached over, helping stabilize the angle. They managed to level out. The black ships didn't follow up with weapons. Instead, they spread wide, trapping them in a net. They're not trying to destroy us, Maya said. They're observing or measuring, Eli said darkly, like they're testing how we react. Suddenly, the signal stopped. The 5 tones cut out. For the first time in 2 days, there was only silence, and that was worse than noise. Eli turned to Kyle. Record everything. Every wave, every frequency. Then prepare for broadcast. We're sending this to the summit. Kyle nodded and began transmitting data back toward known space. Eli took the pilot's seat. We're leaving. These things don't want cargo, don't want gold. They want patterns. They want behavior. He looked at the nest again, still glowing faintly on the radar. They're scouts. The Valor's edge turned slowly, thrusters, burning harder than usual. The old ship groaned as it pulled free of the swarm. The black ships didn't follow. They just hovered there, watching, until the human ship passed beyond their range. Only then did they disappear into the dark again. Back on the bridge, the crew sat in silence that no one spoke until Maya broke it. They weren't built to kill, she said. They were built to count, study, wait. Kyle looked over. Then what do we do? Eli looked at them both. We go back, he said, and we make sure the people laughing at our ship understand something. What's that? Eli stood up and headed for the armory. That it's time to stop laughing. The Valor's edge dropped out of warp near Unity Spire, the central space station for diplomatic gatherings, located in neutral space. Unity Spire floated above a quiet blue planet, glowing with clean light and guarded by dozens of ships from 5 major galactic powers. It was peaceful here, or at least, it looked that way. Inside the ship, Captain Eli Barrett sat on the command deck, silent as Maya and Kyle ran scans and prepared the official logs. You think they'll believe us this time? Kyle asked, still staring at the blurry images of the swarm, the strange black ships, the giant nest in deep space. They'll believe, Eli said quietly, or they'll have no one left to convince. The ship was granted docking clearance, though they had to wait longer than usual. The dock workers moved slowly, and a few watched from the corners, whispering as the old human ship groaned its way into port. Eli heard the words again: junk ship, relic, museum piece. He didn't react. He was used to it. But this time, he had proof. Maya and Kyle followed him as he made his way to the grand chamber of Unity Spire. The council hall was vast, shaped like a ring, filled with leaders from each of the 5 great races: the insect-like Marin, the graceful Volari, the hard-skinned Drekkai, the machine-minded Tellan, and the telepathic Asreth. Eli waited at the base of the hall. Standing alone on the polished platform, a voice echoed through the chamber. Captain Barrett spoke. The Volari delegate, her voice soft and amused. Back so soon? I'm not here for small talk, Eli said. Then why are you here? Asked the Drekkai commander, folding his thick arms. Did your old ship run out of fuel again? Eli stepped forward. I have seen something that threatens us all. I've brought full scans, data, and visual records. You can laugh at me, or you can listen. The room went quiet. He activated a small projector and uploaded the files. Holograms appeared above the chamber showing the floating cargo field, the black ships, the pulse waves, and the silent nest in deep space. Then, the repeating 5-tone signal echoed through the hall. The delegates shifted uncomfortably. This is no pirate, Eli said. No rogue species. These ships don't loot. They don't talk. They don't respond. They circle. They test. Then they vanish. The Tellan delegate blinked slowly. And what do they want? I don't know, Eli replied. but they're watching, and they're getting closer. The Seraph envoy spoke for the first time. What if they're not a fleet? What if there's something older? A chill went through the room. The Marin delegate leaned forward. You suggest they're remnants from before, Eli cut in. Voice steady. I don't care what they are. I care that they're moving. They left our ship alive for a reason, probably to see who we'd warn. And now you've told us. The Drekkai muttered. How convenient. Eli narrowed his eyes. I'm not asking for favors. I'm asking for action. Send a patrol. Confirm what we found. Before they reach a colony, the council began whispering among themselves. Some looked curious, others doubtful. After a short pause, the chairperson, a neutral AI named Zinra, made the decision. We will send a 3-ship scout group, Zinra said. If this threat is real, we will escalate. Eli sighed. That's not enough. It is for now. Zinra replied. Eli turned without another word and left the hall. Back on the Valor's edge, Maya shook her head. 3 ships. They won't make it. They won't, Eli said. But maybe they'll buy us time. 2 days pass. The scout team went silent after entering the same zone Eli had visited. No messages, no wreckage, just silence. But the council still debated. The Drekkai accused Earth of staging a hoax. The Volari hesitated. Only the Seraph and Marin agreed to send reinforcements, but they were slow and far away. Then it happened. The Minos colony, a peaceful trade station near the edge of neutral space, sent a distress call. Static. Then one word, incoming. Then silence. Eli was already on the move when the news came through. He had installed a backup engine into Valor's Edge 1 salvaged from an old Tellan cruiser. It was barely compatible with human systems, but Maya got it working. The ship moved. Faster now. They reached the outer ring of Minos in 5 hours. What they found made Maya curse. The colony was gone. Not destroyed, just missing. The large ring-shaped station that had once orbited the planet was no longer there. Just a field of fine dust, no metal, no escape pods, no bodies. Where did it go? Kyle asked. Eli said nothing. He scanned the area himself. The readings were strange. No energy residue, no heat, just gravity waves long and slow, like something huge had passed through. They folded it, Maya whispered. Like paper. Eli opened the comms. This is Captain Barrett. Minos is gone. Not under attack. Not damaged. Gone. He transmitted data to the summit and waited. In our pass. Then the response came. This is Unity Spire, Zinra's voice said. Council emergency session called. We request your presence. Eli frowned. Now they listen. Kyle said. They don't have a choice anymore, Eli replied. Back at the council, the mood was no longer playful. Delegates spoke with urgency, no longer debating but arguing. The Seraph had already begun preparing fleets. The Marin had started defensive drills. Even the Tellan were updating planetary shields. The Drekkai, though, still blamed Earth. This only began when your old ship arrived, Warlord Brank growled. How do we know your kind didn't wake this thing up? Eli snapped. We didn't wake it. We found it. Prove it. Eli stepped forward. Give me 3 days. Let me go back. This time, I won't just record it. I'll bring back a piece of it. The council fell quiet again. You'll risk your ship again? The Volari delegate asked. Eli nodded. If it saves a world. Yes, Zinra answered. Permission granted. Outside the chamber, Maya caught up to Eli. You sure about this? She asked. No, he said. But we need to show them what's coming. She looked out the window, where alien fleets moved into defense positions. What if they're not ready? Eli stared into the stars. Then we won't get a second chance. The Valor's Edge moved quietly through deep space, its hull creaking like an old floorboard with every warp skip. This time, there was no laughter behind them, no mockery from alien voices. Now, the galaxy watched in silence. Captain Eli Barrett stood alone on the bridge as the ship entered the same dead zone where the Minos colony had vanished. His jaw was tight. His eyes were sharper than ever. Same path as before? Maya asked from navigation. Yeah, Eli said, but slower this time. Let's see if we can avoid getting swatted. Kyle leaned over the radar screen. No signals. Yet, But the 5-tone pattern is back. The sound filled the bridge again, 5 slow beeps, like a heartbeat in a void. Eli lowered his voice. This is their language. You think it means something? Kyle asked. I think it's a doorbell. Eli said. Maya raised a brow. You mean, they're inviting us in? Eli nodded slowly. Or warning us to stay out. The lights dimmed as the ship passed through a thick band of gravity. Waves. It felt like driving through fog. The ship's sensors glitched for a second, then cleared. That's when they saw it. Ahead, floating in the dark, was something they hadn't seen before. A massive structure, a wheel the size of a moon, black, and pulsing with blue light. It didn't spin. It didn't hum. It just existed. Dead center in the void. Maya's voice dropped to a whisper. That wasn't their last time. It moved. Eli said. Moved. Kyle repeated. Captain, that thing is the size of a planet. Ellie's jaw clenched. Yeah, and it's not the only one. As they circled the black wheel, more shapes appeared. Long carriers without markings. Spheres with no doors. Columns floating end to end in perfect lines. They weren't ships. They weren't stations. They were something else. The radar flared. A fleet was waking up. Dozens of the smaller black ships began to move, slipping out from hiding spots, like insects crawling from a hive. They moved without lights, but they all turned toward the Valor's edge. Maya quickly diverted power to shields. They're not attacking. They're watching again, Kyle said. Eli kept his eyes on the screen. Get closer to the wheel. Let's see if we can poke the bear. The ship crept forward, every system humming quietly. The bridge lights flickered once, but power held. Then the comms crackled. A voice came through, low, layered, and impossible to trace. You were warned. It didn't sound like a single voice. It sounded like many, speaking at once. You follow patterns. You cling to steel. You build again and again. And still, you do not listen. Maya's hands froze over her console. That's not a translator error, right? No, Eli said quietly. That's them. Kyle swallowed. Should I reply? Eli nodded. Yes, slowly. Kyle tapped the comm button. This is Captain Eli Barrett of the human vessel Valor's Edge. We come in peace. Who are you? There was a pause. Then the voice returned. We are the memory you forgot. Eli narrowed his eyes. What does that mean? The voice responded. Long before you were born, we erased others. The black ships moved slightly, not forward, not back, just rotated, like they were aligning. Maya's screen glitched again. Symbols ran across her display. It's sending data, she said. Looks old. Too old. Kyle tried to block it, but the ship's AI spoke first. Origin pattern recognized, layered in fossil code. Matching. Pre-collapse languages. Eli frowned. Pre-collapse, as in, before the first Galactic. War. Maya turned pale. That was over 50,000 years ago. The screen shifted. Images played. Worlds burning. Fleets shattering. Civilizations crumbling in silence. Not in a war but in a slow, planned extinction. The voice returned. They ignored the signal. You ignored the signal. Ellie's voice was calm but firm. What do you want from us? Another pause. Then silence. Maya's console sparked. EMP pulse incoming. She shouted. Eli slammed the throttle. The Valor's Edge spun just in time. A wave of blue light passed by the hull. Panels shut. Down. Engines coughed. Lights went dark. Main reactor offline. Kyle called. Switching to backup cells. Eli took manual control. Don't fire. Let's just move. The ship drifted backward, slow and steady. The Black Fleet didn't chase. They didn't need to. As the Valor's Edge pulled away, the strange fleet turned back toward the center of the void, toward the wheel. The voice came one last time, warn. Your kind. The pattern begins again. Then it vanished. The signal died. The ship floated in silence. Eli let out a long breath. Record everything, every word, every image. Maya was already on it. Kyle worked silently. After 2 long hours of repairs and engine resets, they jumped back into safer space. Back at Unity Spire, the summit reconvened. But this time, the room felt different. No one joked. No one doubted. Eli stood in the center again, presenting the full recording. The alien leaders watched in silence as the images played. The voice echoed across the chamber. the threats, the history. The extinction dot on the screen went black. The Marin delegates stood first. I lost 2 of my cousins on Minos. The Drek'ai leader spoke next. We need weapons. The Volari leaned forward. What is the pattern? Eli stepped up. It's observation. They watch us build. They wait until we gather. Then they strike. Slowly, patiently, over years. The Seraph voice spoke softly. We think fast. They think in centuries. The Talon AI flickered. What is your recommendation, Captain Barrett? Eli looked around the room. You all laughed. At my ship, he said. Now it's the only one that's seen them up close and survived. He stepped forward. They're not just a threat. They're a test. They wanted to see how we act. How we react. They think we're just a cycle. The Drek'ai growled. Then let's show them we're not. Eli nodded. We build a fleet. Not just strong. Not just smart. But united. Human and alien. Every system working together. The chamber buzzed. With tension. But one by one, the delegates nodded that a new war was beginning. And this time, humanity wouldn't face it alone. Unity Spire was no longer quiet. In every docking bay, engineers from across the galaxy welded armor plates, tested weapons, and argued over ship designs. Volari architects stood beside human welders. Drek'ai soldiers trained beside Marin scouts. Even the emotionless Talon had sent thousands of drones to assist. In the center of it all stood the old Valor's Edge, parked like a rusty elder among children. It didn't shine, it didn't glow, but every technician gave it a respectful glance. Now Captain Eli Barrett watched from a balcony above the dock. His arms were crossed. He didn't smile. They're learning fast, Maya said beside him. They have to, Eli replied. Kyle ran up the stairs, holding a datapad. Captain, new movement reports. For colonies near the rim. Haven't responded. No distress calls. Just a silence. Eli took the datapad. Same as Minos. Yeah, Kyle said. It's spreading. Maya looked at the dock below. We don't have time to finish these ships. Ellie's jaw tightened. Then we don't wait. The Council of Five met again, this time with urgency. The threat is real, said Zinra, the station's AI host, and it is spreading. We now confirm 10 outposts and colonies have gone silent in the last 2 weeks. The Drek'ai commander stood. We have built half our response fleet. Our warships are ready. The Volari delegate replied, ready. Yes, but are they enough? Eli stepped forward. No, they aren't. You're still thinking of war the old way. The room turned toward him. These things don't fight like us. He continued. They don't launch missiles. They don't send demands. They erase. The Marin representative folded her arms. So what do you suggest, Captain? Eli looked at each of them. Let me show you what we've been building. The next day, in a hidden military dock on the far side of the station, the leaders gathered. Massive hangar doors creaked open, revealing something unexpected. It wasn't a new fleet. It was a single, strange-looking vessel long, with uneven plating and glowing cores down its sides. The hull looks human, the Talon said, analyzing it. But those weapons are Talon technology, and those engines are Marin biofuel systems, the Marin delegate added. The shielding is Drek'ai. The commander grunted. Eli nodded. That's the point. This ship codenamed Unity Blade is the first of a new line. Every piece of it is from a different race. It's not just a ship, it's a statement. Zinra scanned the vessel. How did you build this so fast? Eli smiled slightly. Because we stopped arguing about who was in charge. The Seraph voice spoke quietly. And you want to lead the ship into battle? Eli looked at them. No, I want all of us to. The Unity Blade launched 3 days later. Eli took the bridge, joined by officers from every race. Maya from Earth, Kyle from Earth's Youth Division, a Drek'ai weapons master named Gur, a Volari tactical mind named Lyra, and a Talon AI navigator who called itself Blue. Their mission was clear. Find the enemy before the enemy struck again. The ship was fast, strong, and strange. Its weapons systems adjusted mid-flight. The shields adapted. And it held the one thing no other ship in the galaxy had: cooperation. Maya watched the sensors. We're entering the zone where the last colony vanished. Kyle zoomed in on the readings. No debris. No radio noise. Not even metal traces. Eli nodded. Same pattern. The ship slowed. Blue, the AI, spoke calmly. Detecting fluctuations in local gravity, similar to previous encounters, Lyra leaned forward. Bring shields up. Suddenly, the 5-tone signal returned louder, faster. Then came the voice. You bring new shapes. You wear new colors. But the pattern remains. Eli stepped forward. You said silence. But we are not silent. We speak. We build. We survive. The voice responded. You gather like before. You forget like before. Lyra turned. What does that mean? Blue answered. They believe we are repeating a mistake. Maya scowled. They think we're just another cycle. The ship shook gently at first, then violently. Outside, space folded. From the dark, dozens of black ships emerged, faster than before. Gur shouted. They're forming a net. Break through, Eli ordered. The Unity blade shot forward. It moved smoother than any ship Eli had ever flown. The Talon systems predicted enemy paths. The Volari tactical core plotted evasive loops. The Marin thrusters burst through gaps. That seemed too small. Kyle shouted over the noise, charging the new railgun. Gur adjusted the aim, targeting the center node. The weapon fired. For the first time, a black ship broke apart, shattered into fragments. The enemy paused. They felt that, Maya said. More ships surrounded them. Blue reported calmly. Incoming gravitational wave. Full pulse. Recommend rear shield redirect. Gur adjusted settings. The wave hit. The ship held. Return fire, Eli ordered. Maya launched plasma strikes. Lyra released drones. The enemy twisted and dodged, but they were no longer invincible. A second enemy ship fell, then a third. They can bleed, Kyle said. Amazed. Eli didn't smile. They didn't come here to fight. They came to measure us again. The enemy retreated not out of fear, but curiosity. Before disappearing, they sent one final message. We see you have changed. So must we. Then they were gone. The Unity blade drifted in silence. Report damage, Eli said. Minimal, Gur replied. Crew status, all stable. The bridge lights dimmed, then returned. Maya looked at Eli. We didn't just survive. We won. Not yet, Eli said. But now they know we're serious. Kyle checked the sensors. Captain, something else. He pointed to the edge of the radar. A faint ping. A human signal. One that had been missing for years. Eli froze. Is that? Maya confirmed. Yes, that's the old Earth colony beacon. It's still running. Lyra looked at the screen. But that colony was destroyed decades ago. Or we thought it was, Eli said. He sat down slowly. They want us to follow. They're leading us somewhere. Gur tensed. It's a trap, maybe. Eli said. But it's our trap now. He stared into the stars, jaw set. Set course for the lost colony. Let's see what they're hiding next. The Unity blade traveled quietly through the stars. No lights blinked outside. No messages played inside. The crew worked in silence, watching the same small signal pulsing on their screens. An old human beacon. Its tone was slow and tired, as if it had been calling out for decades with no reply. Captain Eli Barrett stood near the main display, arms crossed, his eyes sharp and focused. ETA to the source, he asked. Maya checked the coordinates. 17 minutes. But, Captain, I checked 3 different maps. The system doesn't exist in any official chart. Kyle looked up from his seat. What does that mean? A hidden system or a deleted one? Maya said quietly. Eli didn't answer. He had already guessed the truth. This was not just a forgotten colony. Someone or something had made sure this place was erased from memory. As they approached the signal's location, the star field shifted. A large planet came into view. It was green and blue, just like Earth. But quiet. Too quiet. There's a station in orbit, Maya said. Old human tech, late-gen architecture, mostly intact. Kyle scanned it. No life signs, but no damage either. Just empty. The station turned slowly as if waiting. Eli nodded. Dock us. The Unity blade connected with the station. The airlock hissed as it sealed. Eli, Maya, and Kyle stepped onto the station, with a Talon drone hovering behind them. The corridor was dusty but untouched. Lights flickered weakly. Looks like it's been running on backup power for years, Maya said. They moved deeper, passing signs. Written in Old Earth English. Welcome to Enoch Station. Kyle read the name out loud. Enoch, I've never heard of it. Neither have I, Maya said. They entered the command deck. A single screen glowed in the corner, displaying logs and data. Eli walked over and tapped the panel. It opened. The last entry was dated 72 years ago. Log. Commander Ryan Keller, we sent the signal again. No one answered. The sky is still dark. We've hidden what we found, but I fear it wasn't enough. They're learning faster now, watching more carefully. I'm leaving this log in case someone finds it. This place was once a warning. Now, it's a secret tomb. The message ended. Maya looked around. Tomb, but where are the bodies? Kyle checked life support logs. It says the entire population evacuated. No records of where. Eli frowned. Why would they abandon a working station? The Talon drone beeped. New signal detected. It reported, underground source, planet surface. Eli turned. We're not done here. They landed on the planet below. Lush forests and rivers surrounded the old landing pads. Ruins of human buildings stood quietly in the sun. Nature had begun to take the colony back. Trees growing through roofs, grass rising through cracks in metal floors. But the beacon was still calling. They followed it to a large cave hidden beneath a hill. The entrance was sealed with reinforced steel. The Talon drone scanned it. This door is encoded with triple key authorization. Genetic lock. Human. Eli stepped forward and placed his hand on the panel. It opened. A rush of air escaped. Cold and heavy. They stepped inside. Lights flickered to life as they moved through narrow tunnels. The deeper they went, the colder it became. Then they entered a huge chamber, and there it was, a ship, but not human. Not fully. It looked like the black ships they had seen before, smooth, dark, and alive. But this one was broken, like a wounded animal resting in the dirt. Its hull was cracked. Its lights were dim. Strange roots and wires ran across it, connecting to old Earth machines. Kyle whispered, "Is that one of them?" Maya nodded. "Looks like it." Eli walked closer, eyes wide. "This is why they hid the colony," he said. "They found one, and they tried to study it." The Talon drone scanned the wreck. Partial AI still active, records damaged but retrievable. Eli stepped forward. "Play the logs." A voice began this time, not deep and layered, but clear and young. "I was one of them, a scout. I broke free." The voice paused. "They do not think like you. They do not feel. They do not change. They remember pain and act on memory. Long ago, you destroyed one of their oldest clusters. Not during your wars. Before that, when Earth was still building its first stations." The crew looked at each other in shock. They were not your enemies then, but they remembered. They watched, and when you grew too fast, they came. Eli clenched his fists. "This isn't just about defense. This is revenge." The voice continued. "I escaped because I saw something different. A child, a song, a moment of peace. I wanted to change. I wanted to speak. They did not. They erased me." The ship flickered. "The humans of this colony found me, tried to learn from me. They feared the truth. So they hid, buried me, buried the knowledge. But now they are coming again, stronger, wiser. You must not fight them like before." Maya asked quietly, "Then how?" The ship gave one final message. "You must show them what they cannot understand. Unity, mercy, change. If they see you as a pattern, they will erase. If they see you as something new, they may pause." Then the voice died. The lights in the chamber went out, one by one, back on the Unity blade. The crew sat in silence. Kyle looked at Eli. "Captain." "What now?" Eli answered slowly. "We gather the fleet. We don't just build weapons. We build something they've never seen." Maya nodded. "A reason to stop the pattern." The Drekkai warrior, joined them on the bridge. He said nothing. Just watched the recording of the alien voice. Then he spoke. "I believe it." Lyra, the Volari, stepped forward. "We need a message, one louder than war." Eli nodded. "Then let's make it loud." He tapped the comms. "Zinra, connect me to every council ship." The AI replied instantly. "Ready." Eli cleared his throat. "This is Captain Eli Barrett. We've found the truth. The enemy doesn't hate us because of what we are. They hate us because of what we were. Because we repeated old mistakes. He paused. But we don't have to anymore. The Unity Blade is proof. We can stand together. We can fight together. But more than that, we can surprise them. He leaned forward. This war isn't just for our survival. It's for our identity. Across space, hundreds of ships received the message, and deep in the void, the black ships began to move again. But this time, they paused. The stars trembled. Every scanner across the galaxy reported it. A ripple in space, wide and growing. Systems on the edge of known space were blinking out, one by one. Communication relays, mining colonies, science posts gone, not destroyed. Erase.zin Ra, Unity Spire's AI, sent the same message to every fleet captain. The pattern has begun. Inside the Unity Blade, alarms echoed as the crew prepared for the coming storm. Captain Eli Barrett stood on the bridge. His hands were calm, his voice steady. We've lost 12 more systems, Maya reported. Too fast, Kyle whispered. They're skipping entire sectors. They're not testing anymore, Lyra said. This is the final sweep. Ger loaded the Railgun system manually. Then we fight with everything. Eli turned toward the crew. They've always assumed we'd break apart, that we'd argue, scatter, and run. They never expected this. He pointed toward the display a view of more than 100 ships forming behind the Unity Blade. Human battleships, Marin-cloaked frigates, Drek-I war barges, Volari light-speed interceptors, Talon command satellites. Together, they formed a shield in orbit of the last safe core systems. Together, they waited. Blue, the Talon AI, spoke from the ceiling. Enemy fleet entering system. Estimated number, 648 ships. Maya stared at the numbers. We're outnumbered. Eli gave a short nod. Then let's make each shot count. The enemy came without sound. Black shapes dropped from folded space like raindrops in a storm. They didn't form formations. They didn't speak. They just spread out and advanced. The first volley hit hard. Marin ships vanished. One Volari scout exploded before it could blink. But the shield held. The Unity Blade flew forward. Target their center line, Eli ordered. Lyra launched guided bursts. Kyle fed power into the ion disruptors. Maya kept shields rotating, letting weaker sections recharge before they collapsed. One enemy ship cracked apart. Then another. Then a third. Behind the Unity Blade, the Allied fleet roared to life. The Talon drones moved with mechanical precision. Drek-I warships tanked heavy hits and fired back twice as hard. Marin cloaks shimmered as they struck from behind, vanishing again. Volari jets looped through the black swarm like fish dancing through waves. For the first time, the enemy flinched. Gor grinned. They bleed. They adapt, Maya warned. We hit them before. They came back stronger. As if answering her, the enemy fleet changed shape. Some ships combined, forming long serpent-like warforms. Others split into clouds of smaller drones. The second wave hit. Unity Blade shook. Shields failing on rear. Kyle shouted. Turn us, Eli ordered. The ship flipped, absorbing hits with its reinforced hull. But even as they pushed back, more black ships entered the system. We can't hold this forever, Lyra said. Eli looked toward the far edge of the map. Then we ended another way. Deep in the hold of the Unity Blade, a second hangar opened. Inside was the secret project Eli had been working on. Since discovering the broken black ship in Enoch Station. It wasn't a weapon. It was a voice. Eli had spent nights decoding the language from the rogue enemy ship. With Blue's help, they had built a machine that could reproduce the enemy's signal tone, frequency, and meaning. They called it the mirror. And now they would use it. Eli entered the chamber, closed the door behind him, and activated the device. A sound filled the ship. 5 tones. Then a message in their language. We see you. There was silence outside. The enemy fleet slowed. Another signal followed. We are not the same. We have changed. Watch us again. Then Eli flipped the last switch. The mirror broadcasted every visual from the battle footage of humans fighting. Beside Drek-I, of Talon sacrificing for Volari, of Marin shielding human cargo ships. A new pattern. One of Unity. Back on the bridge, Maya stared at her screen. They've stopped. Kyle confirmed it. No weapons fire. No movement. Lyra leaned forward. They're watching again. Eli returned to the bridge, heart pounding. He stared at the screen. Now, he said. Now we speak to them. Blue connected. The mirror to the fleet's main array. Eli stepped up. This is Captain Eli Barrett of the Unity Blade. He began, knowing the enemy could hear. We know what you are. We know what you remember. But we are not that memory. We are not a cycle. We are something new. He took a breath. We do not ask for mercy. We ask for a chance to show you a better path. For a long moment, nothing changed. Then one enemy. Ship powered down. Then another. Then 50 more. Across the battlefield. Half of the enemy ships dimmed their weapons. Their lights faded. The rest still fought. They're divided, Maya whispered. Not all of them want this war. Kerr grunted. Then let's deal with the ones who do, Eli nodded. Fire on the active ones. Spare the rest. The fleet responded instantly. Unity Blade led the charge. Black ships exploded as they were targeted with precision. Talon satellites overloaded enemy cores. Drek-I rams crushed drone swarms. Volari ships danced around the survivors. And all the while, more and more enemy ships went quiet. Some even retreated. One message played again and again. Observed, evaluated, adjusting. An hour later, it was over. The black swarm had thinned. Less than 100 ships remained. Most had either powered down or retreated into folded space. The rest floated in silence. Eli stood quietly on the bridge. We did it, Kyle said. Lyra shook her head. We didn't win by fighting harder. We won by changing the rules. Maya leaned back in her chair. Do you think they'll come back, Eli? Didn't answer right away. Then he said, maybe. But next time, we won't face them as strangers. We'll face them as something they didn't expect. The crew looked around at each other. Human alien. Machine. Together. Blue spoke last. Signal. Received. A final message. From the enemy core. Everyone froze. Eli nodded. Play it. The voice echoed through the bridge. First time. Pattern interrupted. Watching again. For now, peace. The screen went dark. Maya smiled softly. They're leaving. Eli nodded. Not because we beat them, he said, but because we surprised them. The battle was over, but something new had begun.